I'll give a little bit. I'll give a little bit of your love to me. I'll give a little bit. I'll give a little bit of my life for you. So give a little bit. I'll give a little bit. Baby, we were born to run.
The thing that got me to run in the first place was I just wanted to give back to the community. This community's been a great town and a great place for me to have a business and to raise my family, and I wanted to give something back.
I just love the process. I love the people that have gone before to make this happen, and I just wanted to offer my services.
My campaign, in retrospect, was pretty dumb. It was vote for men without a plan. Because I had no complaint, I had no argument, I loved the city, I loved serving the city, and I said if I can serve as a councilman and you feel like electing me, then I'm here to run.
My grandfather had served on the city council in the 1960s, and when we moved here, he said, if you're going to live here, you got to be involved.
Early on in my life, when I was in 4th, 5th grade, my grandfather served in the Utah State Senate for a term, and I guess it's just kind of in the genes or in the blood.
My whole goal was just making Sandy City a safe place to live in and to want to live in our city and to be proud that they lived here.
I love the town, the city of Santa Clara. We've enjoyed living here for many years, and I wanted to be more involved.
I'm learning to fly.
When I first got on the council, I don't think I opened my mouth for 6 months. I came in not knowing an awful lot about city government, and it's been kind of like a university course, I guess. I feel like I deserve a bachelor's degree in political science or something. Just learning all the different aspects of what it takes to run a city. Sewer and water and planning and zoning and business recruitment and all the other things that go into running a city.
You think you know coming in what you're getting into, and you don't.
Not even close.
You learn as you go, and we realize that you have a lot to learn to make a decision, a lot of things to consider.
I struggled to try to make sure that our quality of life didn't deteriorate, and often that meant dealing with developers that didn't see community the same way as the neighborhood, and trying to find that compromise, that balance.
When we say quality of life, that's something different to a 75-year-old retired fixed income person than it is a 25-year-old or 30-year-old young family working in the tech industry with a good income. And it's been hard to balance that.
I had somebody tell me the best way to learn would be to go and meet with the staff that are over those particular things. So I met with the finance director, I met with the parks director, and went through and learned how they did their jobs. It was kind of a baptism by fire.
I think if you're going to do this job, you got to fully commit to it. And I don't think I realized how much time it would take, and especially in the later years. You know, the first couple of years, you're just kind of floating along trying to figure out what to do and how to do it. And these guys were kind enough to show me the ropes.
Everybody wants you to enforce the law on their neighbor. Nobody wants you to enforce it on them. So you have to learn to deal with that and just accept that people are people, and don't let the pressures get to you. Just do what you believe to be the right thing.
And you have to take yourself out of what you want and give the community what they want.
If you don't work with everyone, especially those that may take their cause up to the state legislature, then you're wasting your time. You may do things that just get overturned. So why not work together?
I have loved being on the council. There has been the bad nights, let me tell you. When you fill this building with 5,000 people over a Walmart, you know?
People are very sincere. We may not agree on all the things that we talk about, but people that come to the meetings, people that get involved are all sincere, very sincere in the things that they believe and hope for our community.
You have to recognize that a city is going to develop, and you can either guide the development or you can just take what comes.
Change is hard, and we recognize that change is going to happen. And sometimes it's just hard to accept.
If you're not progressing, you're regressing. And so we need to continue to not look at the victories of the past, but look to the plans of tomorrow.
When I began here, our skyline was basically 2 buildings. So now I look at the buildings that we have in Provo and the skyline that we have. It's fabulous to me. I love to see growth. I know that that's a challenge for some people to experience growth, but for me, you're either growing or you're going backwards.
When I moved here, the population was 19,000, and now it's double. It's grown, but I think that we've managed the growth fairly well. It's hard sometimes to say no to a developer, but legislatively we have that ability and that right, and sometimes we've had to say no, and that doesn't make us very popular sometimes, but I think in my time we've done a good job.
The thing that I'm the most pleased with is that we have continued to grow. We have boosted our recreation infrastructure. In the time that I've been on the council, we've built an urban bike trail. We've built some red rock trails. We're currently, the big project right now is we're currently in the process of trying to replace an aging and dying swimming pool.
As I drive down University Avenue, I'm just amazed at how it's filled in so beautifully. We have a mall, which we didn't have when I went in office. Academy Square were 4 dilapidated, falling apart buildings that were condemned, and now we have a beautiful library there. We have Riverwoods, which we didn't have before. We have more police officers.
The only change I've seen is there's just a lot more good people have moved in.
But I've lived here 42 years, so it's really been a much different place.
I'm glad that things like Real are here, the Expo Center, Lone Peak Park for the kids to skateboard and families to go join. In fact, our parks and our trails are probably the best, ever. I'm glad that we have such a great senior center for our seniors.
One of our most successful things is something I stole from another city. The idea, we have concerts in the park on Friday night. It's called Fridays on Vine because it's on Vine Street. And we probably get 1,000 people.
There's a lot of history here, and and how neat it has been to be here to watch our city grow and be better and to do some great things.
We put somewhere between 20 and 35, 40 hours a week into city council, which is supposed to be a part-time 8-hour-a-week gig, right? That was the first lie.
A lot of the extremes to do with ordinances. Should my neighbor have dogs that bark all night or a chicken that crows at 5:30?
When I would run for office, people would like to tell me how wonderful I was. When I got elected, and I was a dirty so-and-so and cheat and dishonest and taking money under the table.
I never care if they approach me personally and have a conversation. I welcome that. I just don't like it when they put half a story out on social media. That's hard.
Knock on wood, I only got 4 months left, but I've never had anybody call and scream at me at home.
Sometimes people feel a little foolish when they start attacking you personally and find out that the truth is really a different story.
You can't let the bullying get you because you went last in this business.
Luckily for me, having taught teenagers and young adults for almost 40 years, I have very thick skin. So I learned to not knee-jerk respond. I let them vent. We have a public forum where people can come and comment at the beginning of our meetings every time we have city council. And we just sit there and listen, take notes so we can address some of their issues or answer them. Because a lot of times people are passionate, but most of the time they don't know the full picture.
Does that make me crazy?
There's always funny things going on. We're all a little strange and kind of funny. I remember one time Mayor Curtis found Corey Norman's phone, and he turned it on and hid it. And he was gonna have poor Corey ring the bell, the phone was gonna ring, and Corey was gonna go running around trying to find this phone that was ringing and ringing, and he knew it was his. But the problem that Mayor Curtis didn't realize that Corey had this phone set up and said, call from Mayor John Curtis, call from Mayor John Curtis. And so we heard that over and over and over again.
I got a call from Mayor Curtis one time. He says, "Okay, you got to meet me down and give me the addresses down in the southwest part of town." He says, we need help down here. So there was a man there that had some property and he had pigs in it. And the pigs had a habit of getting out of their pens and roaming the neighborhoods. So here's John and I and some other animal service people, and we're chasing pigs that are huge pigs that have just torn up the neighborhood. We're chasing them around.
Mayor Kapusi went to check her luggage in as we were going together, and she realized my credit card's gone. And all of a sudden she realized, I know what happened. My millionaire son, who is a professional football player, took my credit card to buy pizza last night. She spent the first 3 or 4 days without her credit card in Washington, D.C.
Yes, it's over now.
I've always believed that public service is something that you get in and you serve hard and you spend the time in and then you get out when it's time.
Perhaps a new voice is needed, perhaps a new outlook, a new point of view. I've been doing this for 12 years. I think that's long enough. It's time for somebody else to take a turn.
You know, for me, it was just time. I mean, I personally could go, and I'm kind of sad about leaving because I enjoy the process and I love the people in the community, but I just think it's time for somebody else to serve.
I turned 80 in November. I'm probably the oldest sitting city council person, or one of the oldest. I have some health issues, but most important, my wife wouldn't support me this time. Every time before she's been supportive, but she said, "That's enough, George."
I'm already going through this is the last time syndrome. Yeah, it gets emotional. We've put our heart into this.
And when you talk about being emotional, every day it gets closer to the end of my road. I get worse.
People said, "Why aren't you running again?" I go, well, I think I want my life back.
Since word got out that I was not running again, I've had a lot of people I don't even know. I had a guy even on this last weekend come up to me and says, "I know who you are, you don't know me, but he says, I just want to thank you for what you've done." And that's kind of gratifying to know that somebody at least paid attention, out there.
I told the mayor, I says, I'm actually getting promoted. I'm now going to be a citizen.
We built this city. We built this city.
If I was going to have to say what would I want to leave as a legacy, I would hope that was it, that I was thoughtful and considerate and even-tempered, a voice of reason.
What was significant for me was when we built this new town hall.
That's one thing that happened just over the last couple of years is that we have saved Rock Canyon for posterity.
Over the course of my time on the council, we've developed bike trails, both urban and rural. The college is in the process of trying to build some student housing. We've built the Sevier Valley Center. We're trying to do things that will help us to continue to be a regional hub and to remain relevant.
Personally, is the day the Glockenspiel opened. That was a red letter day for me. It was awesome.
We asked what they wanted. They wanted theater, they wanted music, they wanted art and dance, and they wanted those things, and so we have funded those.
There was such an opposition to our wonderful rec center, and people that didn't want that were very sincere at the time that happened. Now many of the people say, you know what, this is the best recreation center in the country.
We have a big 4th of July concert. We've had Three Dog Night, we had Starship a couple of years ago, we've had Air Supply, we've had all kinds of groups that have come out here to Little Ottawilla because of that par tax pays for all that.
Sandy is a rock solid, really cool place to live. It doesn't matter what you want to do. If you're in Sandy, you can go to professional theater, professional sports, or you can hike, climb, bike, ski, fly fish. You can do whatever you want to within golf. 5 or 10. Don't forget golf. Golf is such a stupid sport, Steve. Only because I can't golf. If I could golf, it would be great, but I'm the worst.
I think it's really vibrant. I'm really proud of what Santa Clara is. I think our staff is amazing. They're willing to wear 3 hats if they need to, and it's really rewarding to see them work together, work with each other. And we've been able to accomplish some things by people serving in-house, building parks or whatever it takes.
It has been an honor for me. How lucky I was. You know, for 8 years of it, I was the only woman on the council.
I feel good that I was a part of something bigger than me, bigger than us. I've looked back over the years at the number of councilmen and women that have served and the people they are. Not one lemon lives in Santa Clara.
It's actually been a great ride. Not fun, but a great ride.
The future looks good.
I hope that the future city council and administration can get along as well as the past city councils and administration got along. Truly, that's the secret sauce. If we're collectively together as a team, we can accomplish great things because nobody accomplishes anything on their own.
My hope would be that Richfield continues to be a commercial hub, a commercial center, a place where people come to and not just through.
I would hope that it would continue with the vision that has been instilled in our employees and hopefully in our citizens, that we can be a city with a future.
I hope that the councils, and I think they'll go forward and just continue to do the work and make good decisions. And I really feel like this community will develop and only improve.
It's been great working with this particular group. My first time on the council, a couple of years there, they described this as a 4-3 council all the time in the paper because we just couldn't get along. And having fellow council members you can work with even when you disagree is just awesome.
We have accomplished quite a bit. I'm really grateful to the citizens of Sandy for being willing to elect me.
Yeah.
At least the majority of the voters had trust in me and allowed me to serve. I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I recognize that it's not about me, and there are other people who want to turn, and I can willfully give it up.
The garbage is picked up and the water turns on and the police come when they need them, and we've got a great, just stellar volunteer fire department that just takes care of us, and so I assume that people are happy with their lives in our community. They're sure coming here in droves, let me tell you.
I came in with no real preconceived notions, no real agenda. I feel like we've moved the city in a positive direction and things are better. I think life is better, not necessarily because of me, but life is better at the end of these 12 years than it was at the beginning.